So today, we're gonna talk about... Bro, what are you saying?
What's up? My name is Adrian and today we're gonna be breaking down one of my videos that I shot with some good friends, cut by cut.
So today, we're gonna talk about... Bro, what?
Framing to me is super important. Framing and motion when it comes to my cuts, that's how I know when and where to cut in the video. Yes, I do add some musicality, but for me, it's important to be able to make these cuts not seem noticeable. When you start noticing edits is when I feel like you editor, you are not doing your job. So here, he's in motion and I wanted to take it from the continuous motion of him doing this. So this is why every frame here, I think matters, right? Because if I were to pull this shot even 2 frames earlier, doesn't work. So I want to make sure I am lining up. One, he's in the center and he starts in the center-ish here as best center as I could get it. And also the motion has to have already started for this to feel seamless, right? Because 2 frames earlier, there's nothing going on there. So even if I take it 1 frame earlier, it doesn't work.
We're gonna talk about... Bro.
I spend a lot of time literally frame by frame, cut by cut, making sure the entire edit is intentional, right? Like perfection doesn't exist. But if I could do the very little things that I have control over perfect, hopefully the compounding strive for perfection lands me somewhere pretty decently close to, not perfect, but pretty good.
That is my line. What the
Yo guys, come on, what are we doing here?
The whole premise of this video is being yourself. My friends who've also made content, they have a very distinct way that they speak, or the music that they choose, or the intros and how they introduce themselves into their videos. Something over here that I did, this is my friend Ethan. Carl, the guy who walks in over here.
So today,
I walk into my videos like this a lot. He did that. He did my whole little intro. Ethan did the intro that most people know Carl to do.
what the
Yo guys, come on, what are we doing here?
I make sure I cut on continuous motion, or well, continuity, right? So we're all like this. He was turning his head. His head was turning left. I needed to make sure that his head was facing left. If his head was left, but his head is turning right on this wide shot, it wouldn't feel the same. Oh, maybe most people don't notice it, but I notice those things. These things matter so much to me. You know, I wanted to make sure everybody's heads were turning at the same time. So as I'm directing it in person, I'm just like, all right, we're gonna let 3 seconds go by and then we all turn our heads in unison, so that when I'm cutting it in the edit, it all comes out the way I need to. And another thing to go even deeper into why it was kind of 3 seconds is because it's also to the BPM of the song underneath. It's like 3 seconds kind of matches like the full 1, 2, 3, 4 of the song. God, it goes so many layers.
Nah, for real though, because today we're gonna talk about the importance of being yourself. Sure, I know it can be easy to follow the formula.
I'm gonna walk us through how I handle a behemoth of an intro like this. Before I go out there and film, my edit is done. My edit's here. My music is picked. I know exactly how long the runtime of my video is going to be. For this, it's a short form video, so it's 90 seconds or less. I needed to pick the music, write the dialogue to the music, know exactly and anticipate when the breaks and pauses are going to happen, and make sure I leave enough time so that it fits within the 90 seconds. So I make one of these. This right here is every single shot and dialogue that we have, every piece of B-roll that we see in this video. Or at least I'd say it's about 97% accuracy. The first shot, as you've seen. So today we're gonna talk about, that's Carl, high shot from above, the horn honks, and then it's a whip pan, and I react, I look over my shoulder like that. Yo, man, that's my line. What the?
We're gonna talk about bro.
I mean, even before that, right? I know exactly how that's gonna happen, the timing of that, because I'm picking the music first and I'm writing to that tempo. And when I show up on set, I tell everybody, all right, this is the exact timing and the cadence you need to say your lines. So if you're wondering, do you tell your friends this is how you need to say your lines? Yes. Yes, I do. I'm there with my phone. I play the song. We hear the beat. It's dun, da, 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 da. And we recite the lines. So today we're going to be talking about honk.
So today we're gonna talk about.
We all listen to the music that I've chosen for the entire edit while we're filming. That kind of planning yields me this seamless of a transition.
Talk about.
That's how I get to that point. But even before that, so like I said, that's like step -1. Step 0 is my folder hierarchy. I don't like looking at my project window with 120 clips of just like C00127, C00129, and the list goes on, just random numbers. I make bins for every little bit that I'm using, different scenes, which I mark up in here. Okay, so I'll make one just for the intro. This whole sequence up to 15 seconds is the intro. Some shots done with just my iPhone, some shots with the drone, you know, that so on and so forth. I'm putting everything in bins. And when I'm editing part for part, because I don't shoot in chronological order, the way we filmed this was we did the intro and then we did other scenes that are in the middle of the video and we went back and forth. Obviously, when you're filming on your card, it saves it in chronological order, the name. And if you're sorting by name, you're gonna have to be scrolling back and forth, up and down. I find it best for myself to edit a video with this many scenes by putting it into the different bins. And when I get to that point in the edit, which I mark up with markers, I could just pull up and pop it open. Another question I get asked is, how long does it take you to edit? A video like this, 45 minutes. I'd say, to put it together. How long does it take to finalize an edit like this? I sent all the homies a video of this like the same night that we filmed it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna pop this open, get a cut done. They were like, whoa, dude, did you really just cut that same day? Yes, because everything has been laid out as efficiently as possible. I could see my script visually. I have it literally next to me. I have experienced just going with the flow and just editing off vibes. Boy, do those edits take hours. I'm not about it. That'll burn me out. So I spend a good 15 to 20 minutes just sorting everything out. Most of the time, I'd say 99% of the time, my edits start down here, dragging the music in. All these songs laid out, which I then go back, drag my dialogue down, and then I make sure the dialogue fits within the beats of the song. It's the piecing together line by line. What am I saying? I follow along this shot list. And once I have that timeline put together, my rough cut one, it's just this.
Fine. What the?
Yo guys, come on, what are we doing here?
So just music and dialogue, it doesn't feel that smooth, right? I wanted to put a transition here. I knew moving forward, finishing the entire edit, I was gonna go back and add some sound design. So the next thing that I add is all the Foley sound effects, I guess what we would call as sound design, to the edit, which is done by, you'll see a lot of this in my edit. These are these little risers here, which I use to transition out of a song, usually a climactic moment or something that's about to drop out completely dead. And now those two songs feel more closely transitioned together. And they're completely different tempos as well. So I wanted to find something quick and just to fill in that space. And the last thing that I do after sound effects and Foley is room tone, which to me, it is the last step, but it's not the least important. Mai's apartment was in a beautiful neighborhood in New York, and I could hear birds chirping out there. And obviously, you know, when you're wearing your lavalier mic, you're not gonna pick that up. So room tone to me is really important. A lot of times I am out there with my audio recorder. I use either my phone or a Zoom or whatever microphone that I have, and I'll record real room tone from these places. And I feel like room tone is the glue between the dialogue and the music and everything that's going on.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to another video. This one's gonna be a penthouse glove video.
And that's cool, that's fine, but...
Hello everyone. Welcome back to another video. This one's gonna be a penthouse glove video, and it's gonna be...
You slightly hear some life in the background. The room tone isn't necessarily meant to be heard, it's meant to be felt. That's something that a lot of us don't notice, especially, you know, when you are using these dialogue AI cleanup tools, which are fantastic. I love it. I use it all the time. Sometimes it makes it a little too clean. It takes out more than you'd like. It makes the dialogue sound awesome, but it also takes out a lot of the life in the room. So I add it back in, and that's the last step once I finish a cut. And just, you know, to go back again from step one, it's music, dialogue, sound effects, Foley, and then room tone. Not one more important than each other, but that's just the way I like to stagger out my edits.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to another video. This one's gonna be a penthouse glove video, and it's gonna be insane.
Ethan, what are you doing? That's not even how you do it.
I don't know.
See,
Most importantly to me when I'm filming and when I'm editing is this center line right here. Very, very important to me, because when you're filming vertical content, it's not the same at all, right? As having your rule of thirds this way and this way. When you're filming vertical content, your eyes are just drawn. It's like it's as if the center line is like your leading line, right? You already have like this cheat, so you might as well follow it. I like to position my shots, I don't want to say symmetrically, but I like to make sure the weight of the shot, or at least what's pulling attention, is towards the center. So this sequence right here.
Back to another video. This one's gonna be a penthouse glove video.
When I was doing these shots, it was Ethan, center line, pretty much symmetrical, and Mai, not symmetrical. She's a little bit off center. So me following my shot list in person, I'll know that Ethan is centered, and the immediate next shot of Mai, I could not have her centered facing the camera the same way. I feel like that's too boring of a shot. I don't want to say I necessarily have a formula that always works, but I do have a formula of what focal length am I using? How am I composing the frame? So for this, it's a pretty similar focal length because we're pretty tight in an apartment. I needed to be wide, probably like a 35mm shot, but I wanted to keep both frames interesting and not too similar to each other. So I have a center line going down my monitor when I'm filming in person. If Mai's head were to be, let's just say right here, like that's a nice shot. Her leading eye is in the center of the frame. That's cool. That's something that I follow. But
Gonna be a penthouse glove video.
I don't really like that as much. Other ways that I can use this center line is this thing in the back, right? It matches up to the center line as much as I could possibly make it. I still want to frame things to the weight of the center and line things up. And even if I shoot things and they're not perfectly centered, which they rarely are because I have the line in person as I'm filming, I'll recrop things to make sure things fit visually weighted. You know, it's one of those things where if you notice something, something's wrong. If you don't notice things, things are done right. That doesn't always hold true, but what I keep in mind with my edits is that I don't like giving the same shot twice, like the same head-on center frame to the camera and her body turned as well head on to the camera. I mean, you could do those things, but these details to me, they just please my inner wannabe cinematographer. So I follow them and I keep these grids on so that I can follow them.
it reflects the truest version of yourself. Take it from these folks right here. That's all you gotta be.
Earlier, I was talking about playing the song as we're filming, because that's exactly how it's gonna be structured. dialogue wise, tempo, the way we're talking. So even when you watch the edit with no music, so just this.
Yourself. Take it from these folks right here. That's all you gotta be.
So that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's all you gotta be. There's syncopation, that's pretty deep into musicality, but like that all fits within the, just hearing the cuts, I'm able to snap at the same tempo of, which is why it's important for me to play the music, say the dialogue in person, as well as the voiceover. When I do these voiceovers off camera, I'm listening to the music in my headphones with my microphone, and I'm making sure I say it within that locked tempo.
When it reflects the truest version of yourself. Take it from these folks right here. That's all you gotta be. And as always, happy creating.
Take care, everyone.
And we'll see you next time.
So all those happen within the music because I'm playing it for them as we're filming. And these are all just little sprinkles of detail that keep editing fun. These little moments of perfection that I'm trying to hit, right? And like I said earlier, even if it's not completely perfect, I'm striving for it.
That's all you gotta be. And as always, happy creating.
Which leads to my own dialogue, right? Here's something that I am hyper conscious and self-aware and almost self-conscious about, right? I don't know about y'all, but you look back at yourself after you film something, even if it's photos of you, you're super critical of yourself and how you look as you're doing things, as you're posing, which is why I don't edit looking at myself. I would have such an extreme bias of the clip that I want to use if I made sure I use a clip that I feel like I look best in, because my edits are so musicality driven. The way I deliver the line, the tempo of which I deliver the line is more important to me than how I look. So in these clips, I don't go here and look for which is the best take. I'll go here into the dialogue panel, the waveform.
And as always, happy creating. Okay. Happy creating.
I'll listen to how I sound, and then I'll choose my clip based off of that.
Bro, what are you saying? That is my line.
That fits with the tempo of the song. That fits with the emotion I'm trying to convey. So I'm going to use that take. I'll put my in and out points, and then I'll drag that bit down. That way it eliminates the bias of, should I use this clip because I look this way? Or maybe my hat looks messed up. Maybe something, I don't know. And I shouldn't care about those things, right? Because it's about the story. And if I were to leave y'all with my one piece of key advice to grow as an editor, just take the time for your pre-edit, right? And your pre-edit does start with pre-production. I think across the board, planning and front-loading the meticulous setup yields a way more efficient workflow later on in the production. So when it comes to my post-production, having, taken the time to have a shot list set up, have the script set up, make the bins, pre-selecting the music, knowing the tempo. I know it sounds boring and it doesn't sound like it has anything to do with the edit, but yes, it does.